Europeans into a New Europe.
The podcast about inspiring projects
all over Europe with Jana,
Jose,
Paula,
Roxana.
Welcome everyone to the third episode of our podcast. Thanks for tuning in. In this episode, we are here with the trash traveler Andreas Noe and his amazing project, the Trash Cycle. Actually, he started his project very recently, so almost like 1 week ago on the 22nd of April. So welcome, Andreas, you as the trash traveler. It's very nice to have you here.
Thank you very much for your invite. I'm also super happy to be here and to speak with you.
That's great to hear. So maybe to jump in directly in your project, or what is it about? What is the whole big idea?
Okay, so the entire project, the Trash Traveler, is existing since almost 3 years, and I quit my job because I was confronted with a lot of plastic at the beaches. I was always going surfing, and like in every 3 minutes I picked up some plastic before and after surf. And yeah, like I was confronted with it too much, so I said I have to do something. I'm not fulfilled anymore doing my regular job, and I just started to pick up and raise awareness about plastic pollution, and that's the main scope of the Trash Traveler project. In the new project, the Trash Cycle, my aim is actually to support a petition to implement a deposit system in Portugal for bottles. What we have, for example, in Germany or in some other countries, we have so many water bottles, glass bottles, cans along the roads, and I'm cycling all around Portugal in the next 2 months, and I'm picking up as many bottles as possible to show crazily what we need, which is we need to give trash value.
And is it just you who is participating, or who else is participating? You have volunteers, or maybe even people you work with?
Yeah. So like I'm doing this since 2.5 years. I started alone. Now it's not anymore pretty much alone. I'm cycling in this project alone around the country, but I have volunteers helping. There's, for example, my volunteer Raquel. She has now her own project also to make the entire trip around Portugal while I'm picking up plastic bottles and do cleanups. She's exploring local farmers and zero waste options to make the whole trip package free and very local. Then I have other volunteers to help, and we have also a film team to create documentary movies to raise awareness also online or in the internet. And a part of that's the core team. We're also part of an NGO right now, but a part of that, I'm asking everybody who wants to join to come to the beach or to cycle with me a few kilometers. I'm cycling right now 3,000 kilometers around Portugal, and people can join however they want. Like, they don't need to be sustainable to join. Everybody can just like start to do something, start to pick up some trash, and from that on we look further. And so we have a lot of schools participating, we have NGOs participating around Portugal, we have just like people from the general public joining cleanups, joining the cycling. That's very wonderful. We were in the first day 27 cyclists, students from a university, from a bicycle club. Everybody can just join to raise awareness together. Together we are stronger.
That sounds really amazing and already quite big. So you have a lot of people who are joining you. But do you remember how was it like in the first weeks of when you started your project? Because, project needs time to develop and to get popular and stuff. But maybe do you remember how you felt during the first days of your project?
Yeah, so I actually just quit my job to start traveling and to pick up plastic, and I actually didn't know where I'm ending up. I didn't have any aim how do I create a movement, or do I want to do this or that. Like I just went to the beach for 160 days in a row, and I every day created a song and a video about the trash, the plastic, what I found at the beaches, and tried to alert on social media, Instagram and the Trash Traveler, like to try to open eyes with songs like this, for example. Be sharp, don't kill the baby shark. Be clean, don't kill the baby dolphin. Littering and polluting ain't okay. Think of the baby manta ray.
Very nice. Thanks for the short ukulele concert. Actually, we could have played a duet, but yeah, my ukulele is in my in the other room. Very nice. So I will put definitely your all the links like to your website, to the Instagram channel in our show notes, so people can check it out, because also your Instagram account is really nice, like lots of videos and really nice to follow. It's a personal recommendation.
Thank you very much.
So now you're cycling, but before you said already that you had you were just picking up plastic and trash on the streets. And what were the results from these past projects?
So the petition is now in this project the first time existing. And this petition right now is supported by 38 NGOs in Portugal. So it's something very strong, and like what I'm hoping, what we are all hoping together, is that we really can get so many signatures that we can really put pressure on the government to implement it. And everybody here, also all those listeners, all you can head over to the trashtraveler.org and just like leave your signature. You can do that even from anywhere around Europe. That's possible as well. And yeah, before I didn't have that, I was raising awareness basically, and it was all like very, very like simple from the beginning. In the first 160 days I was alone. Then I thought like, okay, I need to actually be not alone but be together, because we are always like caught in this Instagram bubble, in this hashtag be sustainable or something like that. So we need to do something crazy to open eyes. So I decided to hike the entire coast of Portugal in 2 months without any break day, on sand, to pick up 1.6 tons of plastic and ask people to join. So like there were like 600 people coming to the beach in these 2 months, and the aim of that is actually to reach as many people as possible who are actually not thinking about plastic pollution outside of Instagram. And how can we do that? We do something crazy and we reach journalists, and that was my goal, and I was very happy with the outcome, because a lot of people had to open their newspaper to read that there's a crazy guy walking the coast of Portugal, and so they had to think about the issue. I didn't have back then something to measure it, like a petition or something, but I had at least numbers with 600 people and over 80 NGOs and initiatives that joined. So the feedback of the general people who joined, and also people who then on the journey started to follow, that feedback was just almost 100% beautiful and very positive.
That's really inspiring, because you really started on your own with the idea in your mind, and then it got bigger and bigger. So I think it's also really inspiring for other people to maybe also take the initiative if they have a good idea.
Yes, absolutely.
And I didn't mention it before, but you're originally from Germany, and a question I think which I ask very often: why did you move to Portugal, or why exactly Portugal? Why not another Mediterranean country, for example?
Yeah, I'm always saying like I'm only doing this in Portugal because I love the country, not because the plastic pollution is worse than anywhere else. It is exactly like here very crucial because we have such a long coastline actually. That's why we feel it. But I could do this project anywhere in every country all over the world. Even in Germany, where we think always we are perfect, but even there our recycling rate is incredibly low, and we are just like burning our plastic and our trash basically, which means like, oh, okay, we are having a high recycling rate, but that's actually just burning. So like in Portugal, we can do something hands-on. In Germany, for example, it's a hidden problem. And I'm just in Portugal because I love to surf, and 7 years ago I went here to travel the country, and then I said at some point, I want to live here at the ocean. I fell in love with the ocean, and I decided to start my PhD in Lisbon. I found a professor, so I had a good base to start my journey here, and at some point I didn't want to continue my PhD anymore, so I said, okay, let's do something else.
Nice. And regarding the cycling, because in the first episode we talked with the representative of the Eurovelo network, which you might know. How is the cycling situation in Portugal? Like, do you cycle on cycling roads, or do you cycle on routes for cars, or where do you cycle actually?
Yeah, so it's improving slowly, but it's improving. Cyclists, the cyclist movement is not as big yet, but we have very beautiful associations, cyclist associations, for example, that are actually really fighting also for the rights of cyclists, and it's really going somewhere. However, it's still very dangerous at some point. Like the first day we were going from Cascais to Lisbon, which is a wonderful road along the ocean into the capital, and there we have just parts of cycling lanes, and we always have to go almost on a highway where people are driving crazily. And also I think it was 2 years ago, one of those guys from the cycling association died because of that dangerous road. It is not perfect, and unfortunately, cycling roads are not implemented as quick. So we have to care, but the movement is growing, and also the understanding of green mobility in the country is like raising very quickly, actually. Yeah.
Cool. That's also then like hitting two birds with one stone, to raise awareness about plastic pollution and also to raise awareness for green mobility possibilities.
Exactly.
That's nice. And also what is really remarkable that your bike, you built it by yourself or from secondhand materials or abandoned materials. How did it work? Like, did you know it all by your own, or did you ask for advice to someone? And how was the process like?
I didn't know almost anything. I knew from my childhood I would always like cycle as a kid, and I got raised cycling. But I just knew how to change like a tube, how to fix a tube, maybe like adjust the brakes a little bit, and that's it. I can also adjust a light. But apart of that, I didn't know anything, and I went into an association of cyclists who are actually helping others to fix their bikes. So it's basically volunteers going there and helping everybody who has a problem or who wants to create a bike from scratch. They're helping them basically to not only build it, but also to teach a little bit to be ready for the real world out there, for all those problems. So I'm feeling much safer now because I built it from the scratch, but only with help from volunteers from Ciclo Oficina Anjos. That's just like a little thank you to all these guys. And it went crazy because building a bike out of just like second-hand parts is not easy. I just had a frame, and it was an old mountain bike frame, so parts were not fitting at all. We had even to cut steel. We had to try a lot of different parts, and it was quite a heavy journey to make this bike ready. And it was just ready 1 week before I started this crazy adventure.
Right on the time.
Yes.
Nice. And which are the difficulties you had so far? Maybe like, of course, now with the cycling project, but also in general, like which problems you have to overcome?
So from this project now, so far, the last 4 days, actually, or in general, I think what is always kicking in is a little bit eco-climate anxiety, because if you're like starting to confront yourself with all the issues out there, and like I'm picking up plastic every day, and like I'm seeing, okay, there is no point that it's possible to clean. So we really need to change something in the regulations, in the system, to not make this worse. And plastic pollution is just one part of many parts in climate change. Understanding we have so many problems, and facing it every day and having that as a main issue in my head, it's making I think like sometimes bringing me into downs where I'm thinking like, okay, how can I continue, and what's the point of continuing? But as long as scientists are saying we can actually save that, then there's hope, and that's why I'm also like doing these crazy things.
And since you're a very busy person, let's already come to an end of this episode. And the last question would be, of course, how can one join? How can I, like living maybe not in Portugal, how could I support you? And also, if I'm right now in Portugal at the coast, how can I join and support your project?
Okay, so basically everybody can join from wherever you were. Like first you can follow on Instagram or Facebook, but moreover, much more important is like head over to the website thetrashtraveler.org. It will open a page where you have a link to sign the petition for the implementation of the deposit system. That would make me absolutely happy. You can spread that, you can see what I'm doing every day, and if you like that, you can support that as well. If you want to give a donation, we are also creating a new documentary out of this project to inspire kids, students, mostly in university and schools. We don't have yet the main funding for that, so if everybody wants to join for that, that would be awesome. But in the end, I'm just happy if everybody leaves the signature.
All right, that sounds great. So I'm going to put all the links in the show notes, of course, for our dear listeners to check this amazing project out. Yeah, well, Andreas, I do thank you for your time. Thanks a lot for sharing with us your inspiring project, your inspiring idea, and actually the fact that all it needs is just an idea, maybe a bit of persistence and, of course, of organization. But in the end, something beautiful can be created by this. So thank you a lot.
Thank you as well for having me here, and let's meet at some point. I forgot about that. You can also head over to the trashtraveler.org. If you're in Portugal, you can see the cycling map and you can just join in person as well.
Ooh, even better.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
Very important.
So thanks a lot. I wish you all the best for your journey, and to all listeners, follow the Trash Traveler on Insta and Facebook and share the message.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.